Welcome everyone, boys, girls, and ghouls. This is Toasting Toys. I am your host, Tom, and tonight we're going to be covering a product from Super7. This is part of their Ultimates line of action figures. Tonight we have, sitting before you in all his glory, King Diamond in action figure form. I am absolutely blown away and never thought a product like this would ever be brought to the market. I want to give a big shout out to JC's Comic Books and More. Anybody that lives in the Northwest Ohio or is traveling to the Northwest Ohio area, his shop is a must stop. For decades, he has been stocking and supplying the coolest shit you can get your greedy little mitts on. And he saved this for me, so thank you, sir. And here he is, King Diamond from Super7, part of their Ultimates line of action figures. As I said, I'm blown away that this was ever created because I'm an old metalhead. I grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the day and age of satanic panic. And King Diamond was a self-professed Satanist. I believe he based his views off the Anton Sander LaVey philosophy. I think in latter years he has walked back on that, but for its time it definitely pushed the buttons and definitely pushed the envelopes in terms of shock factor, and we grew up with something called satanic panic in the 80s. So to see a product like this produced, we have upside down crosses, we have the pentagram with the goat skull on the packaging. Of course, he is adorned with upside down crosses on his face paint, his other face sculpt, the pentacle, the upside down cross on his chains dangling. And you have to understand it's a much different time that we live in here in 2022. This could have never been produced in his heyday at the point in time where he was most prevalent, I believe. Of course, King Diamond, famously part of Merciful Fate, and then King Diamond as its own entity, where he brought in the wonderful melodic work of Andy LaRocque as a guitarist, which matched perfectly with his operatic falsetto. And here we are today. So this is a toast to toys, and tonight we are going to toast King Diamond with a 1792 12-year in a day and age where bourbon has got ridiculous and it's going at crazy prices. Every once in a while you might be able to find this one. I was able to actually get this one at the distillery while I was in Bardstown, Kentucky, picking a barrel of whiskey. I have a special place in my heart for 1792. It was the first distillery I ever picked a barrel at an actual big distillery. And now I have quite a few barrels under my belt. And it's going to pair perfectly with this review tonight. Let's go ahead. Let's give a nosing, a toast to King Diamond from Super7, part of their Ultimates line of action figures. Skål! The nose on this bourbon is just absolutely magical. The oak, the level of burnt brown sugar, vanilla, caramel, apples. The usual Barton banana is not present on the nose of this, so Barton's quite known for their bottled and bond, their full proofs, their standard, and there's always this wonderful nose of banana. This really fades into it doesn't fade, it just has a strong, solid presence of oak. And with that said, let me take a little nip of this and let's dive in. Look at this figure up and close, some of his accessories, the packaging, and then we'll do a little comparison and we'll wrap this episode up. wonderful amount of spice, a nice tannic bite from that. Good age statement. Bourbon can ride a line in terms of its age. It depends on where it's aged in the rick house and how long you can age it, because sometimes somewhere beyond 10, 12, 13, 14 years, being a first use oak vessel that it is aged in, can really take on a tannic bite. And I appreciate a tannic bite, but there are many cases and instances where it goes way too far. So let's go ahead and get close with King Diamond, the Super7's Ultimates. Super7 is producing quite a few lines. This is actually the very first Super7 action figure I ever purchased. He was delayed, didn't think I'd get a hold of him. I think I missed out on some pre-orders, but then lo and behold, my local comic book guy got him in stock and saved me one. So here we have King Diamond. He's fully displaying the horns, holding the skull filled with blood. Absolutely fantastic. Straighten him up if I can without knocking him over. You have his chains. Well, there went the skull. That's to be expected. But even then, even without the skull, he's got that power metal pose. The horns up, the hand out. Really great. The soft apps, the little tassels hanging off his elbows, wrists, the gloves. The paint app on this is pretty damn good. It's slightly glossy on the black. I know a lot of guys out there complain about Super7's glossy finishes, but in this instance, it really works well. I don't think any of the flesh tones or the hair is overly glossy. The black for his leather garb is shiny enough to where it pulls off that leather-like look. All in all, he has some really good wide range of articulation. The head, the legs, everything moves really well and looks really goddamn good on him. So, as my first action figure from Super7, I'll say again, I give you guys a toast. I was very happy to get this guy. This was one of the favorite figures that were released in 2021. I guess you would have to be a metalhead, and King Diamond is maybe a little bit divisive, being that, he has that big operatic high-pitched falsetto, which some people can't get into, so I understand that. But again, like I said, Merciful Fate is cool, but I encourage everybody out there to look at his body of work done as King Diamond, paired with Andy LaRocque, who actually sat in for, I believe, the Individual Thought Patterns release from Death, another very influential metal guitarist, melodic metal guitarist, that had a big influence on me. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. We're going to go ahead and do a quick comparison and wrap this video up, because I think I've said enough thus far. We could keep going. We have multiple head sculpts. We have his planar upside down cross, corpse face, whatever you call the makeup. He has a goat skull. We have the bone cross microphone stand holder. Famously, allegedly, he was supposed to have real bones, the real skull. And then we have his porn stash, mirror sunglass, no makeup face. So all in all, that's really goddamn good. And before I forget about it, let's take a look at this packaging. Again, You couldn't have made this 20 years ago. Absolutely amazing. I know it may be controversial for some. I do not mean offense. I am a metal fan, so to me, these things are nostalgic and hold a really good place in my heart, despite what you may think of them. And so let's go ahead and slip the cover off this, because that is actually a cover revealing the back proportion of this box. And there we have it. King Diamond is a Danish heavy metal musician. As a vocalist, he is known for his extensive range, in particular his usage of falsetto. He is the lead singer and vocalist for both Merciful Fate and the eponymous King Diamond. You know, that's just goddamn good packaging. Good layout, good write-up. Let's get him back in the center. And let's do a little comparison. First of all, we're going to throw in another tie-in to a thrash metal band. Another throwback, as being a metal guy, metal child of the 80s. We're going to throw in NECA's Sergeant D from SOD. So he's a little bit larger scale, a little bit different style. He has the soft cloth army garb, his gun, the cigar, his helmet. The helmet is removable on Sergeant D. So he's going to get his own review and his own due here soon. But just to give you guys a little sense of scale, we're also going to throw into this mix another Super7 offering. We're going to throw in Papa Demetrius 1. So all in all, another amazing offering, and just another example of how times have changed and things like this are able to be produced. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to keep going ahead and producing more of these reviews. I hope you guys are happy, safe. Stick with me. More things to come. If you like this, give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Give me some comments. Give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'm here to dork out, talk about toys, have a sip of some fine whiskey, and what will be, will be. So to that, Skål.